All right, today is January the 22nd. I'm putting together another update. I had some questions from the last video I posted, and I'd like to go ahead and answer them. Thanks, David Lindstrom, for asking the questions. The first thing was you were talking about where I built this. This indeed is about half of my porch, which is on the west side of the house, and I enclosed it. And what I did basically is I built some frames using 2x4s, and I've got 2 layers of 4 mil poly. So you kind of think about it as kind of like a double paned window. And yeah, I use some Gorilla Tape to hold it up, and I use some of the other things that I have around to insulate it. So I got most of the drafts taken care of, but just that alone, it does a pretty good job. To give you an idea, it's actually snowing today. It's this crazy Texas weather. Yesterday was like 65. Today it's 33 degrees outside, and in here it's 50 degrees, 65% humidity. I think that's because of the rain, because usually in here it normally is only about 35% humidity. Now I do have a heater. I bought this at the thrift store, and I just had to replace one of the switches. I got this for $5, and so I got it fixed. Now, I wasn't expecting it to snow, so I forgot to turn it on. I just barely turned this thing on, and that will bring it up to about 65, 67 degrees in here. Our winters here in El Paso, Texas, they're not usually that severe. We might get 2, maybe 4 days of snow the entire winter. But some winters we don't have any snow whatsoever. So this is kind of a surprise. Like I said, it was 65 degrees yesterday, and today it's snowing. You also asked me about the lighting in here. Originally, I installed this, and it's just regular fluorescent light. I think they're 40-45 watts. They're pretty bright. And I have that on a timer. It comes on about 5:30 p.m. and then goes off about 5 a.m. No, I think 3 a.m. I have this one going off. And I got that on a timer along with this, which is a little LED work light. It's about 60 watts of brightness, and it only uses 15 watts of power. And I have that just to, it's on the same timer mechanism, and that's just so it can illuminate this, give these plants some light. And I have some cilantro, spicy oregano. I got some spinach here. As you see, it's getting ready to seed, and I've got some onions and a couple little jalapeno pepper seedlings that just popped up, and that's what that light is for. Once it gets warm, I'll probably move this back outside. What I have recently added about 3 weeks ago was this. I got these over at Lowe's. They're about $16 a piece, and it's 150 watts as far as light output. But amazingly enough, it only uses 40 watts of power. So a little bit more expensive, but you know, these are rated to last about 3 to 5 years. And I have these on a timer. I have another one over here. And like I said, so for 40 watts, I'm getting 150 watts, and When I installed these, I saw a really big improvement with the plants. Plants really like it. It's not as white as far as the color of the light as the fluorescent. It's a little bit more yellow. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the plants liking it, or just the fact of the matter that it's 150 watts, whereas these fluorescents are only 40 watts a piece. But the plants really like it, and I've used it to start seedlings. And as you can see, the seedlings are doing really well. As soon as they get what I'm trying to do, as soon as they get a couple weeks old, moving them on over here to this little hydroponic, aquaponic hybrid that I built. This here is just, it's growing like crazy. This is a replanted celery stalk. It started off as a real light yellow, and you see this is all new growth here, just the last few days. And here's the root ball. I can't even pull it out anymore, but it's gotten really thick, really big. This plant here is probably about maybe almost 2 months old. This one here is probably only about 3, maybe 4 weeks old, and it had hardly any root ball to it. And look at this. So this is working really well. It took a while to figure out. I've got a separate pump on this system, and I have a 300 gallon per minute pump on it, but I had to put a valve to turn down the flow, because otherwise it kept spilling over the sides. As you can see here, I've got it down to where it's a nice little flow, and the plants really seem to like it. This is a replanted Mexican onion plant, and it's just going crazy. This is another one too. I actually thought it was dying, and this is brand new growth right there, probably only 2-3 days old. This is one of my transplanted lettuce plants. This thing is probably only about 3 weeks old right now. 2.5, 3 weeks old, and they're definitely liking it. This was some of the first leaves, and these are new growth right there. Got some cilantro here. I replanted these just a couple days after this, but they were all seedlings from the same group. And this is more cilantro, and I waited a little bit longer before replanting this. You know, this has been a work in progress, and adding the different pieces, I've noticed just big differences, like adding the swirl filter, and I regularly, you know, I use this here to take out some of the solids, and I use that on, you know, these other plants that aren't actually part of the hydroponic system, or the aquaponic system, and I've noticed a huge difference. I mean, these plants here, they were doing okay, but I think considering the amount of light that they get during the winter, and I was just using regular water on them, they weren't doing that well. But now with the water from the aquaponic system, I mean, look at this. It's gone crazy. Gotten a couple more harvests out of these spinach plants, and I'm just waiting for them to seed so I can reuse those seeds in here once again. I'm going to try to get another bed going. As you can see, I have another bed. It's just I have a few other projects going on at the same time. That's why I have the cans there. I'm putting together a solar heater that I'm going to have over here on the this is the west side of the house, so it gets I'm sorry, the south side of the house, so it gets a nice bit of sun almost the entire day. And So I'm working on that. Also, I brought one of my rain barrels in, and this is, I think, also helped to regulate the temperature in here, because this water is quite a bit warmer in here than having it outside. So during the day it's collecting, you know, it maintains the heat, whatever the temperature is in here, and you know, water's good for that. I've also been working on my worm farms. And these guys have just been going crazy. I'm using red wrigglers and some Canadian night crawlers. So I use that. And it usually takes these guys, I got about 30, maybe 40 worms in each one. That's not counting the new, I guess, young worms that have been getting produced in there. I see a lot more of them now. And after about 3 weeks, all that ends up turning into this here. This is nothing but worm castings in here. There may be a few small worms in there, some juveniles, but I try to pull most of them out to keep them working in these other two. And so that is pretty much what I'm working on all the time. If you have any more questions, here I need to at least end on this here. I'm going to pick this tomato today. This is going to be my first pick of the winter, and this guy's definitely ready to go. It is that red. This is a Roma tomato. And if you've watched any of my older videos, you'll know that this Roma tomato plant, it's come a long way. It was actually one of the tomato plants that I bought last spring, and my dog, she's an Akita, I guess she didn't like this particular plant because she ripped it out and kind of tore it up, and I got what was left of it and put it in my Aquaponics, and you know, it's come back. It came back from being torn up by a big 85-pound dog, and but also this particular plant, it took me a while to get rid of all the worms. Had some caterpillars attacking it, and now it's just awesome. And so what I'm hoping is I've got quite a few other flowers on there. I got about 3 other tomatoes, green, that are growing on here. But I suspect if this acts like the other tomato plants I had, as soon as I pick this tomato, the other one should get really big, and this thing should start producing, which is just great for, here we are, 22nd of January. Okay, I think I've talked enough. If you have any more questions, please leave your comments, and if you have any questions, ask away. I'm always willing to help out anybody who's starting their first project, because I've had a lot of other people help me get the system that I have right now, watching YouTube videos and answering my questions when I post to their videos, and I'm totally happy to help in any way. So until next time, thank you, and keep on gardening.